12 o'clock. Here is the midday news. First, the top stories. Tension in Ojogbolu, Ogun State over killing of a family of 4 by accidents. Ogun Assembly again insists on list of 10.5 billion naira Paris loan refund beneficiaries. Army Chief of Staff reads riot act to soldiers engaging in politics. Police officers to be posted to their communities of origin, says Police IG. On the foreign scene, US warns countries against backing North Korea and its nuclear project. And India court allows pregnant 10-year-old girl to have late-term abortion. Good afternoon, I am Chienye Egwuonwu, bringing you the news in detail shortly. Police have been mobilized to Ojogbolu near Ijebu-Ode following the brutal killing of an imam, his wife and 4 children in an overnight attack on their homes by unknown persons. The imam, identified as Sheikh Yusuf Tanimola, who is in his 30s, was found hacked to death along with his wife and 4 children, whose ages range from 2 to 11 on Tuesday morning. They were buried according to the Islamic rites later on Tuesday, amidst weeping by relatives and other sympathizers. Senator Benga Kaka, who was one of those who visited the scene, expressed shock at the incident. Spokesman of the Ogun State Police Command, Abimbola Oyeyemi, says that police units, including Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad and Homicide, supported by other policemen, are already in the town to unravel the circumstances leading to the deaths. Police, according to him, are also profiling the identities of the assailants, promising that they will be tracked down. Ogun State Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board will hold Hajj seminar on Thursday, May 18, for all eligible intending pilgrims from the state to this year's holy pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina in Saudi Arabia. The seminar will hold at the same time in the headquarters of the state's 3 senatorial districts of Ogun West, Ogun Central, and Ogun East at 10 p.m. prompt. The seminar, according to the board's Executive Secretary Alhaji Abdul Hakim Kalejai, will hold at Abeokuta Central Mosque, Kobiti in Abeokuta, the Ijebu-Ode Central Mosque in Ijebu-Ode, and Ilaro Central Mosque in Ilaro. The board says the event is compulsory for all intending pilgrims as it is part of the essentials of a successful Hajj. It asked eligible intending pilgrims to attend the seminar at their respective senatorial district headquarters. The Ogun State House of Assembly has again asked the state government to provide it with a list of beneficiaries of the state's share of the first tranche of the Paris London Club's loan refund. The Assembly repeats its demand for the list of the beneficiaries of the refund, totaling 10.5 billion naira, after the Finance Commissioner Wale Oshinowo failed to produce the list on Tuesday. The Commissioner, before Tuesday's meeting with the House Finance and Appropriation Committee, had since last February 14 promised on 2 separate occasions to provide the list of beneficiaries of the loan, but failed to do so. At a meeting with the committee on Tuesday, the Commissioner explained the disbursement of the 10.5 billion naira refund without documents to back it up. He again asked the committee to give him more time to collate the details of the expenditure of the 10.5 billion naira refund from ministries, departments and agencies. But the committee chairman, Olushola Bankole, insisted on the presentation of the list of beneficiaries in order to show transparency in the handling of the fund. Bankole, who expressed concern over the delay in providing the details of the disbursement of the 10.5 billion naira refund, says they have been flooded with petitions from pensioners and public officers left out in the disbursement of the fund. The army says it has discovered that some soldiers are engaged in political discussion with some unnamed politicians. Army Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, in a statement by Army spokesman Brigadier General Sani Usman, says some Army officers and soldiers had been approached for undisclosed reasons. He wants troops seeking to get themselves in politics to quit the Army, which according to him is a thorough professional, disciplined, loyal and a political institution with clear constitutional rules and responsibilities. Buratai warns that any army officer or soldier who is found collaborating with such elements or engaged in unprofessional conduct such as politicking will have themselves to blame. The Senate has given conditions for approving the request of the presidency for the $5.8 billion loan from China's Exim Bank for the implementation of new rail projects. The loan is to finance the construction of the standard gauge rail track from Lagos to Kano, Kano to Kaduna, Lagos to Ibadan, and Lagos to Calabar. The Senate, following a motion raised by Enyinaya Abaribe, says the loan request will not be considered if the Southeast Zone is not included in the rail modernization project. Abaribe in the motion says since the loan will be repaid by all the 6 geopolitical zones, there is no reason the rail project will exclude the Southeast cities and towns. The Senate has invited the Transportation Minister, Rotimi Amechi, to explain why the Southeast Zone cities were not included in the multi-billion-dollar rail project. Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris says police officers will soon be redeployed to the communities of origin for effective policing. Idris made this known in Lokoja at a stakeholders meeting in the capital of Kogi State, which is facing serious attacks by criminal elements, including kidnappers and armed robbers. The Police Inspector General, who was represented by Deputy Inspector General in charge of Finance and Administration, Shuaib Gambo, explained that the decision is to bring police close to the people. He did not give a timeline for the implementation of the new policy, but says that most of the 155,000 new policemen that will be recruited within the next 5 years will be posted to their respective communities. You are still listening to the Midday News on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we bring you foreign, business, and sports news. Please stay with us. In foreign, the US has warned countries backing North Korea and its nuclear ambitions as tensions continue. The US ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, speaking before a closed-door Security Council meeting, warned countries giving their backing to North Korea to stop or face the consequences. Her comments came ahead of an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council, which on Monday unanimously condemned North Korea's latest missile test and warned of new sanctions. North Korea said the missile it had tested on Sunday was a newly developed ballistic rocket which is capable of carrying a large nuclear warhead. It flew some 700 kilometers, reaching an altitude of 2,000 kilometers and landing in the sea west of Japan. South Korea was unable to verify the claims. North Korea is known to be developing both nuclear weapons. It has conducted 5 nuclear tests, and the missiles capable of delivering those weapons to their targets both are in defiance of UN sanctions. 2 more people, including a teenager, have been shot dead during anti-government protests in Venezuela. Yason Mora Castillo, 17, was killed during demonstrations in central Barina State, while Diego Arellano, 31, died on the operating table after being shot in Miranda State. Their names bring to fore the number killed in the past 24 hours. It is believed that 42 people had died since the near-daily demonstrations began 7 weeks ago. Protesters are demanding early elections and an end to the country's deep economic crisis. Luis Almagro, head of the Organization of American States and one of President Nicolas Maduro's harshest international critics, called for the government to be held to account over the deaths. A court in India has allowed a pregnant 10-year-old girl to have a late-term abortion. The girl, who is about 5 months pregnant and reports being raped repeatedly by her stepfather, appealed for a termination. Indian law does not permit abortions after 20 weeks unless doctors can prove that the mother's life is at risk. The decision was made after a local court accepted the recommendation of doctors at the Postgraduate Institute of Medical Sciences in the state of Haryana. The pregnancy came to light last week when the girl's mother suspected her daughter was pregnant and took her to a doctor. The stepfather, who is also the child's paternal uncle, was arrested and is currently in jail according to police, who added that the abuse had been going on for years. Next is the business news. The Senate is angry with top federal government agencies and departments for failing to submit their 2017 budget for consideration and approval. The 38 agencies and departments include the Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Nigeria Immigration Service, Nigeria Ports Authority, as well as the Security and Exchange Commission. The Senate raised a question on the agencies after the Deputy Senate Leader, Bala Ibenala, observed that the budget estimates of the 39 agencies and departments were not included in the 2017 appropriation bill, which was submitted to the Senate for consideration. Senate President Bukola Saraki says the failure of agencies to submit their budget estimates for consideration by now violates the provisions of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. The agencies are directed to immediately submit their proposed budget or face sanctions. Finally, sports news. League Management Company Chairman Shehu Diko has charged administrators of Nigeria Professional Football League teams to curb growing fans' violence. In a meeting with the NPFL club representatives in Abuja on Wednesday, Diko urged them to create a peaceful atmosphere at their match venues and be hospitable to their visitors. The LMC boss pledged that performances of match officials will always be reviewed for a better showing that warns them against inciting the fans against referees. The second stanza resumes on Sunday, May 21, with Plateau United sitting atop of the log after the first round of 19 games. That was the midday news, and just before we go, the major stories once again. Tension in Odogbolu, Ogun State over killing of a family of 4 by assailants. Ogun Assembly again insisted on list of 10.5 billion naira Paris loan refund beneficiaries. Army Chief of Staff read the Riot Act to soldiers engaged in politics. Police officers to be posted to their communities of origin, said Police IG. On the foreign scene, we also reported that US warned countries against backing North Korea and its nuclear project. India court allowed pregnant 10-year-old girl to have late-term abortion. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you very much for listening. It is a beautiful day. I am Chienye Egwuonwu. Good afternoon.